Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to today's Mongil Star Dive video. So in today's Mongil Star Dive video, we're going to talk about the ultimate team building guide, where we break down every aspect of team building that you need to know in terms of the different synergies and also the units you want in your team. So first of all, let's start with the units you want in your team. So I'm going to use my own team as a reference point. Right now, in terms of the late game contents, you'll probably need at least one destroyer unit in your team, because destroyer unit is especially important in boss battles to break the bosses so that your units can do the burst damage when the boss is staggered. So this is where having at least one destroyer is really important. Usually there's also going to be a supporter, either be it a healer or a buffer for your team. And then if you are bossing in general, assassins is good. Fighter right now is what I'm maining right now with Sangun. So that will be the general idea of the team build, right? You have a main DPS, either a fighter or an assassin. And then you have one destroyer to help you break more easily with the increased neutralization damage. And then a support unit either for more heals or for the damage buff for the team. So for my own account right here, I'm using Sangun as my main DPS. And then we have Ellie right here as my brand new destroyer. So previously I was actually running Cloud, but after a little bit of gameplay, I realized that Cloud as a breaker isn't really the strongest in terms of what he can offer. And Ellie right here is insanely powerful, so I'll probably do another video for her to talk about why this unit is the best support in the game. Because this unit is insanely good for the additional neutralization damage, which helps you break the boss more easily and also gives you a little bit of heal. So when you combine the heal with other heal sources, you'll be able to sustain yourself, at the very least if you know how to dodge. So that's with regards to why I'm running Ellie. So we also have G1. So typically, I think G1 plus a win carry, be it Esther or Sangun, will be the core of the team. And then you have one destroyer, either in the form of Flare or even in the form of Ellie, would be the most ideal and easy to build team for most people. And the other reason why you want to have at least one support in your team is because of the artifacts. Because if you take a look at most of the artifacts in the current collection, the artifacts are usually pretty individual based. It buffs up the individual unit, and the support class artifacts are the one that provides a team-wide boost. So this is a team-wide boost, this is a team-wide boost, and then this is a team-wide boost. So you can see that there is a reason why you need at least one support in the team. Destroyer is important against bosses, but outside of the boss battles, Destroyer is not a must-have. But ideally, in most cases, you want to have at least one Destroyer in your team because of the boss elements that are in the late game. So that's with regards to like the general idea in terms of who you want in your team and why you want those units. So with regards to the most ideal team right now, I think a team with two DPSs in the form of the Destroyer as well as the main carry with two different elements is usually the strongest. So if you do have the resources to get the specific artifacts as well as all the desired SSR units, then this team over here, this best meta team by Irisa from Zeeebo GG is the most ideal, because we have Flare as the fire damage dealer with the destroyer tag to help you neutralize the boss much faster. And then we have Esther, which is a win DPS that excels at massive single target damage, together with G1 providing additional win support and damage for the whole team. So this team doesn't have that much heal, but you can make up for the lack of heal and sustain with your cooking as well as your monster link. So this team is probably the most ideal damage wise if you have the resources to pull for them. I kind of disagree with this free-to-play team, because this team doesn't look very free-to-play. Like, a free-to-play idea should be what I'm using right now, at least like having like one 4-star unit or very easily accessible unit, because if your gacha luck is not that good, you might not be able to secure that many SSRs. So let's say if you do not have Flare, then the other choice for the Destroyer category would be Ellie, like I mentioned earlier. You can also try to use Cloud, but so far, at least based off my own observation, Cloud's breaking ability isn't the most outstanding. So I think Ellie will be a much better replacement for Flare, or like a substitute downgrade. So that's with regards to the Destroyer side. And then for the DPS right now, Sangun's pretty decent as a DPS, but he's more AoE centric. He doesn't have as much burst damage as Esther, but if you're talking about a win team with G1 and Flare, Sangun's definitely a decent alternative as the main DPS if you do get him. So that will be like some of the ideas for this team. So there's the Gabby team, which is Gabby focused, so I kind of disagree with this build. But this team over here, this Earth team, with Ellie as the destroyer, with Gabby as the main DPS, together with Francis for the heal, as well as the Earth debuff, allows your Earth team to function pretty well as well. So this is another elemental team which is pretty solid right now, provided you have Gabby. So Gabby is your main DPS, Francis is your support healer debuffer, and then Ellie is your destroyer together with the buffs and also a little bit of heal. So that's with regards to the Earth team. So next, let's talk about the other elemental teams you can form. So for the Lightning team, we have the choice of Penny with Reyna, or Penny with Yonhua together with another support. So probably Francis if you need additional sustain. If not, G1 is pretty good as well. So right now, I think Reyna right here isn't exactly a really powerful unit. So like in terms of the tier ratings, at least across the various tier lists I've seen, she's not the strongest. So Lightning team right here will be heavily dependent on whether or not you have Penny, because this is your main damage dealer right here. So Penny is needed for your Lightning team. If you do have her, then this will be the ideal team. Obviously, you do not have to strictly follow like a mono team in terms of the early game build up. You can just focus on a team of 3 units that covers multiple elements, so you're able to branch out more easily later on. So the win team side is Esther plus G1 plus 1 destroyer, and then you can also do Sengun plus G1 plus another destroyer. So that's for the win team. For the ice team, you are pretty limited. So yeah, Ophelia plus Cloud plus another support should be the way to go. So that's that. But like I mentioned, I think Cloud as a destroyer is not the strongest, although he does provide the Ice Affliction, which allows you to deal more damage with Ice damage dealer. So Ophelia will be the core DPS. You need to build around Ophelia. So in terms of the current team builds, you are typically building around the main SSR. So Ice team will be Ophelia, Lightning team will be Penny, Wind team will be between Esther and Sengun, and then Fire team will be Flare. Mina's also pretty good. At the very least, I think if you do want to run like a pure fire team, then Mina plus Flare will be the more premium version together with another support. So that's that. The rest of the other 4-star characters are also okay. If you are really unlucky with the gachas and you do not get Mina, then I think some of this fire alternative is also a buildable choice as a fire team. So that's that. So generally speaking, I think the strongest element in the game right now would be Wind, because Wind has a very comprehensive team, has a good AoE damage dealer, has a good single target damage dealer with an insanely good support. So G1 as a support is just really good because her overall buff, even though it's a little bit more wind centric with the wind damage buff, but if you have like the tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4 upgraded, you get like an overall damage boost for the whole team. So that's insanely powerful, and like, she's probably one of the most versatile character I can think of. So that's that. In terms of the other units, I personally don't have every unit right here, so I'm not the most familiar with the other characters. At least based off what I know, the strongest support would be between Francis as Ellie, these 2 units over here. So generally speaking, I think these 2 healers are the more used choice in terms of the team build up. So that's with regards to like my current knowledge of the different characters as well as the team building side of things. So in terms of the current main consideration for which team to build or the most ideal team, personally speaking, in terms of the late game, it's between Conquest as well as Dimensional Rift, and so far all the elements will have at least a boss that they are able to excel at. So some people will say Fire team will be the best to build because you're able to take on Hanul, but if you actually cleared out the highest level, like level 14, level 15, you know, that kind of levels, you will realize that the drop rate of the higher levels are not that much higher compared to, like, for example, level 10 or 11. So the only difference is like the possibility to drop all these equipments. So this is where like Fire element need not necessarily be the strongest, right? Obviously they have Flare, which is insanely good as a destroyer and also a damage dealer. So Fire element may be the contender for the strongest team, but the most easy to build team would definitely be the Wind team for Amon right here. So that's with regards to like the current trends. And in terms of how you want to play the late game, if you have a really solid team composition, you want to focus on the units, get them leveled up, push all the way to level 15, and then do your auto farms to get the equipments. So all these set effects really increases the damage output of your specific elemental teams. So this is where, let's say, if you are playing, for example, Dosini right here, right? So Dosini right here will need you to have an Earth team, and then if you're able to push to like level 15, you're able to get equipment for the additional boost. So this is where you will be able to use that really powerful single element team to push some of the easier stages in the other bosses, at least I think before level 10. So this is where you actually can progress in the conquest side for the different tokens as well as the power-ups for your account. So another content to consider will be Dimensional Rift. So as far as I can observe, I think Dimensional Rift's element is kind of random. So they actually alternate between different elements from stages to stages. So right now we are currently at level 7. So far it's like one stage of electric earth and then another stage of wind fire and then ice and fire, etc, etc. So the Dimensional Rift side is basically you need multiple teams anyway, so that will be for your late game concern. But generally speaking, right now there isn't really like one most powerful element or one most powerful elemental team. It really depends on what units you have as well as the artifacts and also the most ideal setups for the units. So that's pretty much it for today's team building guide. Hopefully this video is helpful for you guys in terms of finalizing your team builds by the current stage of the game. And do remember to like and subscribe to see more and also support me from the Mongil Stardive creator page, link in the description below. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!